third story tonight, is Jim Schlachter. He moved to Summit Avenue in 1991, ran his own business here in Madeira, dealing with retirement planning administration, and decided to take his own advice and retire. So he is living his truth now. His story is called A Halloween Tale.
Good evening. I have two short stories. In 1991, my current husband, David Meredith, and I moved to Madeira. Thank you. Previously, he was living in Oxford, Ohio, and I was living in downtown Cincinnati in a high-rise apartment building. We were an early 30s gay couple purchasing their first home together in a predominantly Republican suburb of Cincinnati. What could go wrong? What could be scary about that? To say the least, our neighbors were curious about us. Most were friendly. After a couple of years, David had the great idea of inviting over some of the neighbors. We decided to offer them chili on Halloween after trick-or-treating was finished. I, too, thought it was a good idea to invite the neighbors. We could show them that we were just a normal couple. Maybe I wanted to dispel the rumors that we had a disco ball hanging in our living room, or that the interior looked like Pee-wee's Playhouse or Barbie's Malibu Mansion. We were not that scary, even on Halloween. Well, they came. Some were a little hesitant. No one before had hosted a gathering in the neighborhood. But after a while, and a glass of wine, or a cup of spiced cider, they loosened up. Most of the partygoers had been in Madeira for a long time. They had a shared history, and this gave them the opportunity to catch up and gossip. And that is how it started. For several years, we had the party at our house. Then other neighbors started to host the parties, but always we brought the Halloween chili. People even asked for the recipe. Post-COVID, it has been back to our house for the last few years. Sadly, a few of the original group are no longer around, but the ones that are here still come. The demographics of the group has changed. When we first started, we invited 8 households. The number is now 18. Several families with small children are now in the neighborhood. All the neighbors are invited. It's difficult for the young couples with kids. Usually one of them has to stay home or they tag team, and so that they both can attend at some point. And just a note, cautionary, if you're going to host one of these things, keep the political conversation to a minimum. Yes. Due to the number attending now, we ask that everyone wear a name tag. It really helps people to reach out to someone they only say hi to when they walk by. This way they can put a name with a face, and that hi may lead to more conversations. I think these gatherings have helped foster a sense of community in our little part of Madeira. For example, last year in the summer, a young woman moved fairly close to our house. When I took her the flyer inviting her to the chili party, she was shocked. She said in her last neighborhood, none of the neighbors spoke to each other. They would come home, pull into their garages, close the door. But in our neighborhood, she was grateful to be invited. She came to the party and had a great time. The day will come when we won't be able to attend, but I hope the Halloween chili party will live on at Summit and Southside. So my second story is more on a personal level. I believe the theme of the Madeira Stories Live is neighborhood gatherings. The second story is related to that theme, sort of. Shortly after we moved to Madeira, I moved my business to downtown Madeira over here by the Kroger's parking lot. That allowed me to walk home and to walk to work and even walk home for lunch. It was great. Very often on my evening walk home, waddling up some south side, I would pass the house of the old longtime mayor of Madeira. He would be sitting out on his front porch. And just as a courtesy, I would say hi. Never got a response. So I assumed at first that since he was older, he just didn't hear me. So I started speaking up louder as I walked past. I'd say hi. Still nothing. Then one evening, he wasn't out on his front porch, but his wife was, and I said hi to her. And she said hi back and even gave me a little wave. Then it finally dawned on me. He could hear me, but he chose not to respond, and I wondered why. I hadn't spoken to him, so it couldn't have been something I said. I thought of many reasons, some of them obvious, like maybe the two gay guys I moved in across the street. So I did the next logical thing. I got mad. I fumed for a while, but then I realized that I had experienced things like this before, and I just had to find a better way to deal with it. So my way of dealing with it was to make a conscious effort to speak to anyone that came by our house. Our neighbors that are here this evening know that I like to work in my lawn and garden. Anybody that walks by, be it a single person with their dog or a couple out for a walk after evening dinner, and even joggers, I always make an effort to say hi. Actually, I say howdy. I don't know why I say howdy, but that's what I do. Most say hi back. Some stop and talk about my garden or the weather or trying to decide what exact shade of orange our house is. And there's still some that don't respond. For those people, I give them an even louder howdy. Some of my neighbors may get annoyed with me, John, because if they're outside, I'll walk over and say hi and ask if all is well. I have great neighbors. They tolerate me well, and I do so enjoy chatting with them. For the old mayor, in a way I owe him. I'm not sure I would have made the effort if he hadn't been the way he was. For 20 years, from the day we moved in until the day he moved out, he never spoke to us.
Wow.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you to all our neighbors who said hi.
Thank you so much, Jim. I love the idea of mandatory name tags. We've got in Madeira, it's like you kind of know everyone. So like I've got the Madeira School Foundation auction Saturday, and we've got the father-daughter dance Friday, and everyone, hey guy, how you doing? Pal, how you been? It's been a while. So I think, yeah, exactly. It's I'm gonna introduce an ordinance for mandatory name tags at all events, more than 50 people in Madeira. And I love the very end of the story. We talk a lot about make lemons into lemonade. This idea of like take a bad situation and make it good. But what a great example of having that, recognition that I wouldn't be doing this great thing if it wasn't for this bad thing. And that perspective is amazing, Jim, and really appreciate you taking the time to share with us.